Father, I searched his face for traces of me, for something that connected us in an indisputable way. I hoped he'd have the same smile or the same long Tyra Banks forehead, but I was disappointed to find he more resembled Fat Albert. His face was round and dark, his eyes deep-set and tired. There was one genetic gift I spied: thick eyebrows, dark caterpillars crawling across his forehead. Great. The one genetic link I shared with my dad was something I now spent $20 a month to wax off. I had so many other questions to ask. What did he do for a living? Did he have other children? Was he married? Did he like his coffee like he liked his women? That's white. But I couldn't ask him any of this because we hadn't actually met in person. At the age of 27, I saw my father for the first time when I found him on Facebook. That's right, Facebook. I found my father amongst cat videos, uninformed posts about privacy updates and gun control, and pictures upon pictures upon pictures of the children of high school classmates I can barely remember. Up until a few months ago, I knew nothing about him. Years earlier, I had scavenged my mom's old photo albums for evidence, but didn't find much. Just his name, pictures of his parents, and another child from a previous relationship. Clearly, he was okay at being a baby daddy, just not mine. I also found our one picture together. In it, I'm an infant, my mouth wide open in anticipation of the spoonful of food his hand is preparing to deliver. It's just his hand, though, nothing else. You think your childhood was shitty? For nearly 3 decades, my father was nothing more to me than a hand. And then earlier this year, I got a Facebook friend request from a young man with the same last name as me, my father's last name. This was a brother, a cousin, someone from my dad's side of the family. I confirmed our friendship, and then, like a girl whose ex-boyfriend just changed his Facebook status back to in a relationship, I devoured every inch of his profile. I searched for faces that looked like mine, searched for the one hand I knew so well. But this young man kept his profile sparse, so I typed my father's name into the search bar. He came up immediately. Everybody's parents are on Facebook these days. There wasn't much to see on his page, so I wondered then if he could see me. Had he already flipped through some of my albums? Was he super jealous of my amazing life? After all, that's the purpose of Facebook, right? To display all the aspects of your very best life in the hopes that you'll make your estranged father wish he'd never left you. I wondered what I would look like to him. Would he see familiar parts of himself? Maybe something I had missed? Obviously, he wouldn't notice our similar eyebrows, as I'd been taking care of those since the 9th grade. But as I looked closer, I could see that we did have the same eyes and the same full, dark lips, too. I wanted him to think that I was beautiful, more Tyra Banks than Fat Albert, hopefully. But more than that, I found myself with an intense desire to make him feel regret. I wanted him to see how amazing I'd turned out and feel horribly for never having stuck around. After finding my dad on Facebook, I had the urge to change all my privacy settings from private to public, enabling anyone online to view my photos. I wanted to show him every part of me that he had missed. I wanted him to notice that I had been promoted recently, that I had gone to a good school, that I had jumped out of a plane in New Zealand and danced drunkenly in crowded booths in Vegas at my best friend's bachelorette party. All of the things I did without him in my life as a guidepost or a sounding board. See, Dad, I turned out just fine, even with the drunken dancing. Some days I would rack my brain for something witty to post, just in case he was checking. Come on, Jenna, it's the Super Bowl. It should be easy. Think of something better than the Beyonce Bowl, something that's equally true but hasn't been said. I wanted him to see that, unlike and in spite of him, I had maintained healthy relationships with the important people in my life, that I was happy, and more importantly, smart and hilarious. I hoped he'd feel like a shitbag for not having been there, for having nothing to do with the way I turned out, which was awesomely, clearly. But sadly, what I realized is that I had made it nearly 27 years believing I didn't care whether or not I knew my father, and now, here we both were on Facebook together, and all I could think about was how I might get him to like me. I went back and forth in the days that followed. Some days I would make my profile public, allowing everyone to read my wittiest thoughts, though clearly not anything I came up with around the Super Bowl, and peruse my best pictures. On other days I felt like he didn't deserve this. For years he had made no effort to find me. Why should I make it so easy for him now? After wondering whether he was watching me, no friend request came. It still hasn't. And I worry that it might never come, that he simply does not want to know me. If the past is any indication, I certainly can't count on him to reach out, and I'm not sure I want him to reach out this way anyway. Facebook, this artificial flat universe where memes about binders of women are rewarded over actual human relationships, is not the place where I want to start anew. Imagine how that might go. Jenna, I'm glad you finally accepted my friend. I hope a friendly game of Mafia Wars will clear up any misunderstandings that have 30 years. Best, Dad. Dear Jenna, I'm sorry. LOL, you're dead. Yo, baby girl. Sorry I'm late to the game, but I know you won't hate the playa. The complicated tangle of feelings I harbor for my dad moves far beyond what can be contained in a casually cheery Facebook message or 160-character wall post. And deep down, I do realize that any like on Facebook isn't equivalent to actually liking me in real life. It's not, you guys. Just know that. Obviously, I'm still angry, curious, hurt, anxious, and I'm sure I can't properly convey all of that, period, ever, far less in a two-dimensional social media network where everyone is watching. But a Facebook friendship is the lowest stakes form of friendship, easy as a click of a mouse. And it stings that he can't even manage that. Plus, I know he's capable of clicking the add friend button. I know at the very least he has a fucking hand. For so long, I hid behind the idea that I was fine without my father. Maybe it's because my mother was so strong and independent without him. That, of course, could also be the fact that she's an LAPD police detective, essentially Mariska Hargitay in real life, and just figuratively and literally much stronger than me. Or maybe mine is a defensive posture. He abandoned me, so I abandoned him. But I'm embarrassed to discover that, however illogical, I do care what he thinks of me. I don't know that I want him in my life, but, as women often feel, I want him to want to be. In some dark moments, I believe that if he reaches out, it couldn't have been my fault that he left 27 years ago. For most of my life, I didn't worry about this. It was easy to pretend that if only he could see me, it would be impossible not to love me. He would see that I had worked hard for straight A's, straight teeth, and well-manicured eyebrows. But Facebook, fucking Facebook, has ruined that illusion. He can see all of these things. I posted them for him and the world to see. He can see my very best self displayed in all its pixelated glory, and he still won't claim me. I worked so hard to do it all right, and somehow I'm still all wrong for him. I won't add him on Facebook, and I doubt he'll add me. That wouldn't make it all better anyway. But I'll continue to do the hard work of all abandoned daughters. I'll forgive because I can't fill the hole he left with the anger and self-pity that will only prove to destroy me more. I'll grow and move on, and I'll continue to prove that in spite of his absence, I've turned out all right. And next year, I'll be prepared to post a fucking hilarious joke about the damn Super Bowl.